we ask our colleagues to use their brains. We're short of cash, but we do have a lot of talents in our colleagues. So they have to think about some innovative ideas. And we introduce a kind of, we call it two-level lighting system. So the duty set of lighting system will provide only 30 lux around the clock for 24 hours. And that is the minimum requirement for the means of escape. And then we have a standby sets of lighting system at different areas to elevate the lighting level to 85 lux when triggered or when switched on by those people in need, those with visual impairs. So this will cost us an extra about $800,000 for the control conduit and cable and the capital cost, and payback period about 7 years. So we think it's worthwhile to spend the money upfront, but to reduce energy. So this is how it works. In normal mode, we have the saving mode with the corridor and the public areas and 30 lux. But there's a standby set of lights that we can, if we press the button, and it's a bright mode, and the standby set of lighting will be switched on, and will be remaining for about 10 minutes. We can set a time for the visually impaired persons to get maybe from the lift to his flat or vice versa. So this is how we do it. And with this, we can save a lot of energy in the long run for the duration of the building, which may last for about 100 years. And if we look at the existing buildings, how we're performing, at the moment, we have about 700,000 flats in about 1,300 buildings. And on average, we have, in the year 2008-09, the average kilowatt hour per flat is 808. And if we compare the same set of figures in the year 2003-04, it's 878. So we have been reducing it at a rate of about 1.6% decrease per annum. And the downward trend of consumption, we expect it to further improve in future. So we expect that by the years, say 2019 and 20, it can be reduced to 753. But I tell my colleagues, this is not enough. This is too conservative. But do something which is better. And if we look at history, how we can do this is because we have trimmed down the over-illuminated lighting level areas, and we changed the tubes, lighting tubes, to T5 where possible, and then we employ high-efficiency electronic ballast, and also employ photosensor and timer. We also modernize the lifts with the variable voltage and variable frequency control system. But this, we can only do it when the lifts reach an age of about 25 years old. So we don't change it for change's sake. And compare with private sector, so we may ask, how do we perform? From the survey conducted by a green group, we consume about only 12% to 26% by comparison to our private sector counterparts in the use of energy for the public areas. And this is due to our high efficiency design and high efficiency equipment, and also good operation and management. So look at the challenge in future. We know that lighting will still consume the highest level of energy in our buildings, and it's approximately 250 gigawatts hour per annum. And if we can save 20%, it means that we can save 50 gigawatt hours of $50 million and or 35,000 tons of CO2 emission. So solution, one is the LED lighting, which we think we have high hopes that we can motivate the industry to design and produce LED lighting, bulkhead fittings to suit our existing complex fluorescent lighting bulkhead, and we can change it on bulk. And if successful, this can reduce energy. And furthermore, we're experimenting on the renewable energies like wind and also solar energy. So we hope with all these measures in place, we aim to have a better achievement than the targets our colleagues have given me. So thank you. So I've saved time as well.
Well done. That's the minute I went over.
Yeah.
The lady wins.
Yes.
Right. The difficulty with, especially in housing estate, is the consumer who actually used to a certain amount of electricity spending. We have the same problem at our shopping centers, that people are used to, especially in Hong Kong, very cold shopping centers rather than 20-odd degrees. They prefer to be much colder. And how do you change people's preference over time so that as a consumer they demand less electricity, and therefore as a landlord you also provide that?
So I have a go first. We know that if we talk about carbon emission or how we can save energy, then of course consumers can help a lot. For our tenants, I think they have been using fluorescent tubes wherever possible to save energy. And for new building, we try to provide natural lighting and ventilation for them, as well as for the public areas, as much as possible, just to reduce the energy consumption. But for the lifestyles, as a kind of lifelong kind of coaching, or you have to have some kind of program to constantly remind them how to save energy. And we have a program for the green groups to work with us. And they also do some kind of campaigns with our estates and engage the tenants and also the estate management advisory committees to help encourage everybody to reduce energy. So this is how we have been doing that, and also to reduce waste as well. So we get to engage the people, this is very important, and to reach out and communicate, and maybe sometimes we have to give them some kind of encouragement.
We have Mr. Patrick Onishi from the American Institute of Architects. Perhaps the experience in America?
Good morning. Good morning. Actually, I'm in the room and I'm here listening with a lot of interest. I'm actually from Honolulu, Hawaii, and so we're an island community. It's very heartening to see how advanced the commitments have been for some of the larger urban centers. You know, I've been here visiting since Monday and talking to some of people that I've interacted with. It does take a behavioral change, and it does. I look at myself, and I need to always remind myself the benefits of changing my habits. What I think in our community, the cost of energy is such that I think the general public has become very aware of the necessity to practice conservation. You know, our resources are all imported. I think I've been told that we have 12 days of petroleum fuel to support our island power needs. And so if we're exposed to any kind of devastating natural disaster, we are really going to be in problem. So again, as I said, I'm in the room, but I'm here just enjoying seeing what other communities have been doing.
Well, in Hawaii, given the limited stock of fuel, you have by necessity do that. In China, we have Professor Yu Zhang here from Huazhong University of Science and Technology from Wuhan. A different way, again, we were talking about consumer preference. As China economic standard improve, a lot of consumers actually are buying their first TV, the first refrigerator, so they are spending electricity while we are telling landlords, government buildings, etc., to cut. What are some of the things that is done in China?
I have not much to say because the policy about the existing building is very difficult. I just reviewed the New York plan. There is no part to discuss this problem. So, and so many people to discuss this question. But I just come from Wuhan. Wuhan is a very big city and metropolitan. But its famous is it's very hot in summer and very cold in winter. So it's difficult to solve the problem. So I have a simple presentation to solve this a program. I just finished a program to say it. So if somebody interested in it, so can review this program in the C40, the website. Thank you.
In Australia, I guess a lot of this have been going on for quite some time, as you were talking about.
Yeah, a couple of things I didn't say. Probably two of the top property portfolio owners in Australia have portfolio average neighbours ratings of greater than sort of 3.5 star, and then sort of up at 5 star when you include the green power that they purchase for those buildings. And you know, they've been recognised. You know, one of them has previously been the top of the Dow Jones Sustainability Index, GPT Property Group, who are now currently at the top of the Dow Jones as well. So they're very competitive, and I suppose you could say there's quite a good green market, and you've seen that, I suppose, that focus on energy efficiency, and that's hence why the city has still focused on energy efficiency for the others, I suppose, for the rest of the market, but needs to take it to the next step and look at how we green up the energy supply coming into the city.